How the devil are you? Oof! Today we've got the Yamaha Natural Sound Compact Disc Player CD-S300. Now this has been updated recently over the last couple of years by the S303, but it's not a huge difference between the two. I think it's still using the same casing, a lot of the same components, and I think the same DAC, because Yamaha are being a little bit cagey about giving information about the 303 DAC. Now this uses a Burr Brown DAC, and Burr Brown's Texas Instruments. Decent DAC, it's a 28-bit 192 kilohertz DAC. So a decent DAC, but in the 303, they've been a little bit cagey, which I'll go through some of the specs of the 303 when I go through the 300, because you've got to think to yourself, is it worth spending the extra money to get the 303 when you can get a 300 second hand? It all depends on what your needs are, which I'll explain later on in the video. So let's have a little look what's on the front. Okay, let's start from the right hand side first, get the boring stuff out of the way. This is where it's all happening on my left. This is where all the cool kids hang out over here. So you've got your stop, your pause, your play, you skip forward, just press it once to skip forward, press and hold to forward it. Obviously you've got these on the remote as well. Got your draw, whatever here. I mean, it's quite a smooth draw, it's not bad. If I had one complaint, it's like maybe, you know, it's a little bit plasticky, but most CD players are under £500. But it's a smooth enough action. I got no complaints about it. Then you've got a PY direct mode here. Now I'm not sold on this at all. What it's supposed to do is bypass some of the circuitry to give you a better sound. Now while I can see this working on an amp to bypass your tone controls, I can't see how this is going to really do much for a CD player. I mean, I'll give you an example now, right? So this is what it does, which it starts playing. So you press PY direct, okay? And it just takes out all your display. So you have no idea what's playing. So I don't understand the purpose. Maybe it's a bit gimmicky. I couldn't hear a difference between when it was on or off. Nothing at all, not a smidge. Okay, possibly my ears, I don't know. But didn't make much difference to me. Then you've got your where you can choose between CD and USB. So let's put it to USB now. Obviously you're going to say no USB because I haven't got one in yet. No USB. Now we'll be aware that this S300 model will only play, I think, WMA and MP3 up to 320 kilobytes. Whereas the newer version, the 303, will play FLAC files, AAC I think, as well as MP3 and WMA. So the newer version does play a bit more. But here's the thing, and again, a little bit controversial, okay? I can't really hear the difference between MP3, 320 kilobits per second, or FLAC, personally. I've tried it on my other CD player, my Marantz PM6007. I can't tell the difference. And I bet most of you will be hard pushed to tell a difference in a blind A/B test. There are tests out there online. Maybe I'll find one and put it in the description box below so you can try it. But I can't tell the difference between an MP3 320 or FLAC, so meh, okay? And also the 303 plays a WAV WAV files. So anyway, let's put this in. Now it plays them well, but it goes directly into the first folder. So the first folder that's on there, number one, the first one you've put on there, it goes directly into that. It doesn't give you a list of folders. It just dives straight in and plays the first folder. Now what if I don't want to play the flipping first folder? So I'll press stop on the remote. Bike. Okay. Now this is a bit weird. This readout. You can't change that display. That is what it is. Okay. So I've no idea what them folders are. So it says I've got 62 tracks on there. Now apparently, let me just check what this holds. Now you can hold on your USB with this one up to 250 folders and about 32,000 files. Whereas the 303, you can hold a lot more on there. I think it's pretty much double, 60 odd thousand and 500. So you can hold a little bit more on your files here, but I mean 32,000 is quite, you know, a lot to hold on it. Personally, I don't really use USB that much. I normally use the CD player. So again, you've got to factor that in. If you're thinking of getting one of these over the 303, you've got to factor in these differences. Anyway, back to your folder. So imagine now you had 200 folders here. Okay, and how many tracks what you've got there. Trying to search them without the names, it's just ridiculous. So that is a bit of a weird thing. And again, I haven't got a 303 to compare. I don't know whether that has a better display than this. But just going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 250 is just ridiculous. Okay, so, and then when you get to your folder, it just plays it. The remote's okay, does the job, it's functional, looks all right. Not the best remote I've ever seen in my life, but hey, who cares? You press a button and it works. There you go. So you've got all the controls on here: CD, USB, pure direct, open, close. You can program, repeat, random, dimmer, so you can set the different brightnesses. You've got your display options. Actually, I'll go through that in a second about the CD display, but it won't give you the name unless it's a CD text CD. It won't tell you the name of the track or anything, which that sucks a little bit. This is an odd button, which I think has been excluded from the newer version. You can press A. You can press it once for A, and then second for B, and it'll highlight a specific track, which you can then repeat that part of the track. Weird. And obviously you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, blah 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 blah. Enter, clear, forward, rewind, skip, pause, play, stop, and then your folder selection there for the USB. Now the reason I got the 300 over the 303 is because I've got the AS500 amp, and the remote for the amp works with this CD player. It's limited controls, as you can see here. You've only got disc skip, eject, play, pause and stop. There's nothing else there, so you can't do the display or anything like that. But it's handy when you're sat in the chair. I mean, getting up to walk 1.5 meters is too tiring for me. So it's handy to have just the one remote where you haven't got to go up and get the other one or anything like that. You haven't got 2 remotes in your hand. So there you go. So as I discussed earlier, this is what the display gives you. So there now you can see how much of the track is played. Press the display, it tells you how much of the track is left, and it tells you how much is left on the CD, and that is it. There's no CD text on it. Now I do think the 303 does give you some CD text, but what I've seen from another review is it literally stays on there for about 2 or 3 seconds and goes off again. So you can press and have a look what track is playing, but it doesn't stay on there, it just disappears. There's not a lot happening on the back. You've got your analog output and your coaxial and optical power in. You have got a removable power lead, which is always handy. What I found was odd though, is that it's got a right-left symbol on the analog outputs, but they're not color coordinated, and I've not seen that before. I'm sure it's on other equipment, but I've not seen it. Normally I have a red and white, but on this one it's just black and left and right. Okay, what's a review if you don't take the lid off and have a look what's inside? I guarantee there's not going to be much to look at in there. Perhaps you see if I can find the DAC in there, see what Burr Brown DAC they've got in there, but it's not going to be a lot to see. But let's get the lid off. It's a bit like when you see guys in the car park looking under the bonnet of their car, just staring at the engines going, ooh. And like them, I haven't got a clue what I'm looking at. Let's get the lid off. Ta-da! There's the inside of it. Not that I know everything what's in there. Obviously you've got your tray here. I think this is all the electrical inputs and stuff like that. Power in, transformer there. A couple of caps, some heat sinks. Now I think this here is like a USB memory reader or something, or USB reader that is there. And obviously this is the digital board here. And just there, where is it? Just there, there we go. That's the DAC, just there. If I can get it, just there. And that is a Burr Brown PCM 1780, 1780. What I'll do, I'll put a spec sheet here, round about there somewhere, if you can have a look at. Check it out. Can't beat a bit of specs, yeah? Who doesn't like a spec sheet? You've seen what the player has to offer, and it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't give you a sound sample. Now normally I'd always run my CD players through my Topping E50 DAC, because obviously for me the Topping E50 DAC is a much better DAC than any sub 500 CD player. Probably any sub £1,000 CD player in my opinion, but that is only my opinion. But I won't be using the Topping E50 for this sound test. I'll be using its internal Burr Brown DAC. So have a listen. And there you go. What do you think? Now I know it's YouTube, compression, blah de blah de blah. Okay, but it sounds pretty good. I really like the sound of it. Now I got a Marantz PM6007, and what I might do is do a video comparing them with each other. But there's not much difference in sound in my opinion. Good bass, good treble, good mids. You know, and comparing them, doing a A/B testing between the two, I couldn't tell much difference. But I'll do a proper video on that, so watch out for that at a later date. So all in all, it's got some shortcomings. I'll give it that. It's an older player. But if you're happy just to listen to MP3 320 kilobits per second, or just play CDs, then it's fine. Absolutely no problem at all. Got great sound on it. And I do really like the look of it. It goes really well with my AS500. I do like the look of it. I like the sleek lines of it, the sort of retro-y type of look to it. All saying that though, I mean, older CD players used to have loads of buttons here, didn't they? But no, I really like the look of it. It's a decent player. So if you really want to listen to FLAC files, then maybe get the 303. But like I said, MP3 320 to me doesn't sound any different. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come on. And I'll catch you in the next video.